Over 100 people were arrested this weekend for protesting the prescription of Palestine action. Protesters across the country held placards with the word, quote, "I oppose genocide, I support Palestine action." The Met Police said 55 people were arrested in London on suspicion of terrorism offences, for displaying placards in support of the banned group. Here's the moment one of those protesters was arrested.
I'm here to demand the government de-prescribe Palestine action. It was a ridiculous thing to prescribe a peaceful organisation. They're not terrorists.
And you're a doctor?
I am indeed.
Do you think it's appropriate they're being arrested for this action?
Well, I'm thinking about all the medical staff, the medical facilities in Gaza that have been destroyed by the genocide, by the Israeli Defence Forces. They've deliberately targeted healthcare workers. Many hundreds have died. And all the healthcare facilities have been damaged, if not completely destroyed, in this onslaught against the Palestinian people. So the people now haven't got access to healthcare like they once had.
Do you know what this police officer is looking for on you?
Possibly any incriminating evidence, I suppose.
Sorry, what are you looking for, Constable?
So on the Police and Criminal Evidence Act, we can look for anything that may be related to the offence.
Related to the offence? What is the offence?
Probably not at liberty to disclose that. It's between me and this gentleman.
We need to protect our democracy and our freedom to speak out. These are our rights to protest. If we don't, we're going to lose them. We just simply cannot turn a blind eye to the genocide going on in Gaza.
Very brave man. Here's another of the arrestees.
And shame on the state of Israel for what they're doing to the Palestinian people at the moment.
Are you going to stand up for the search?
No, I'm bloody not.
No, I'm bloody not. I mean, something I come back whenever I see clips like this, I do feel like, older women who don't take shit are kind of the moral bastion of the country in many ways, I think. 17 more were arrested in Bristol, 16 in Manchester, 4 in Liverpool, and 8 outside Truro Cathedral in Cornwall. That included an 81-year-old former magistrate. Today, Palestine Action co-founder Huda Amori asked the High Court for permission to challenge the group's prescription through a judicial review. Lawyers representing the group argued the prescription made the UK an international outlier, as direct action is typically treated as activism rather than terrorism. Blina Ni Harali, who also represented South Africa in the ICJ genocide case against Israel, contended there is near consensus in the human rights world that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza, and said it is doing this with parts provided by arms firms in Britain. She added that Palestine Action's main target, Israeli arms firm Elbit Systems, plays a key role in these war crimes and crimes against humanity. Nihrali also argued the prescription was having an impact on the right to protest beyond the strict bounds of the law, citing the following incident in Kent.
What's your intention here today?
My intention is to wave this flag and keep Palestine in the public consciousness right now.
So do you support any prescribed group?
I do not support any prescribed group.
Okay.
I support a free Palestine and the end of genocide.
So Judge Chamberlain actually said that the officers there clearly misunderstood the law, but Nihrali countered that nobody had come out and said they did anything wrong. So this is a quote: "Kent has not issued an apology or a retraction. The Secretary of State has not come out and said that this is a manifest misapplication of the law." So it's all well and good for the judge to say, well, this is just one cop misunderstanding the law. Why should we worry? And this lawyer rightly pointing out, well, no one has said this isn't a correct application of the law. So why would you not expect other police officers to do similarly or take similar actions which also misunderstand the law? She also cited another example, which she called an egregious example, where a protester was arrested for carrying a reproduction of a satirical image from Private Eye. So this is the image. So it says, Palestine Action explained, unacceptable Palestine Action spraying military planes with paint, acceptable Palestine Action shooting Palestinians queuing for food. So someone who held that up was arrested. She also mentioned submissions from Novara Media and Declassified UK regarding concerns about implications for press freedom, and said there was, quote, sheer confusion as to what journalists can and cannot publish now. Lawyers acting for the government argued that judicial review is an inappropriate forum for reviewing prescription, and that the case should instead be reviewed by the Prescribed Organisations Appeal Commission. That's a specialised tribunal established by Parliament which can more easily, they say, and review evidence provided to closed court. Lawyers for Palestine Action countered that the Home Secretary's case for prescription doesn't rely on secret evidence necessitating a closed court, and that judicial review would provide a speedy remedy, whereas it's unclear how long review by the POAC, so the special tribunal, would take. We had been expecting a ruling today. However, Judge Chamberlain has decided to withhold judgment until next week. There will be a further hearing on Wednesday, the 30th of July, when the full judgment will be handed down to both parties. I'm now joined by Helena, aka No Justice MTG. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm assuming that, like myself, you're going to sort of struggle to make any predictions and engage in how this is sort of going to go down in a court of law. And so I was going to ask you about something which I know both of us, I suppose, can comment on, which is these images of doctors, of 81-year-old magistrates being arrested by police because they oppose a genocide in Gaza.
I mean, it's obviously very, very silly. And I'm seeing loads of people who are watching this must also believe it to be silly as well. Instead, they're trying to impugn, essentially, peaceful demonstrators as terrorists, right? Like, we can see all of the images that we've talked about and seen so far today in this show. These things can be broadcast on the media, through social media, through any amount of channels, right? And we can't label that as terrorism, or at least we are told that this isn't terrorism. What the IOF is doing to the people of Palestine, this isn't terrorism. We know who the real terrorists are. It's the 81-year-old ladies protesting the grotesque images that we continue to see every single day, right? The idea that somehow that these people are terrorists, what is even, if we just take all the actions of Palestine Action completely out of the equation here, right? Obviously, I don't believe that what Palestine Action done, it necessitates terrorism, but they are also trying to impugn anybody who says any words of support for them or holds signs in support of them or even holds satirical images in support of them as potentially being terrorists themselves. And that is the whole problem with the action of prescription in the first place. It's the chilling effect that surrounds it that is such an issue. And that's why there have been people from the UN who have said that we are an international outlier in terms of who we do and don't prescribe as being terrorists, and then who levies their support. Again, these are the issues with regards to the free speech implications that's the problem. Not only are we seeing people who make supportive statements being arrested, again, that is illegal under the prescription law. They do leave themselves open to arrest. Now, we can sit here and debate the merits, which we obviously don't believe many merits exist on our side of this equation, right? But on top of this, there is the chilling effect around it, where people who say things that could potentially be construed, right? Well, there's a lot of ambiguity in the term of whether it's potentially could be construed that way, that allows there to be, as we have seen, people who are members of law enforcement take matters into their own hands and to misapply where that law is. But then again, who judges what the correct application is when you can essentially arrest somebody on suspicion of anything, right? Like, if you turn up at a protest that is about, quote unquote, defending the right of people to support Palestine Action, if that's in the case what these people were doing, I don't know what the initial description internally of the protest was. If you are there but not even saying anything specifically in support of Palestine Action, they can have suspicion, and then of course then you potentially leave yourself open to being arrested, and that is the problem, right? This chilling effect can go very, very far. And again, just as I opened up my segment with, I opened up my contribution, the idea that retired doctors and magistrates are terrorists essentially because of their position on our government's relationship with regards to foreign policy, it beggars belief, it really does, when we see actual terrorism happening to the Palestinians every day, and yet our government are the people who are flying spy flights for these people, who are training IDF soldiers in the United Kingdom and allowing jets to refuel on their way to Israel in RAF Bryce Norton. It really is topsy-turvy world in Starmer's Britain.